welcome to Relo Azhar Mentors platform. Today's session will be presented by the star trainer, Mr. Samir Omara. Mr. Samir is an EFL teacher and a teacher trainer. He is a presenter at the Nile TESOL and ILACE. He is the president-elect of 2020. Today's session is about public speaking techniques. So we're going to enjoy a nice time with Mr. Samir Omara. Thank you, Mr. Samir. Hello, Mr. Samir.
Hello. Hi, sir.
Hi, sir. You can start. Thank you very much for being with us for today.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Said, and your great team.
Thank you.
And welcome to public speaking session today.
You can start, Mr. Samir. Thank you.
Okay. Could you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And what about the voice? Is it okay?
It's okay too. It's okay
Thank
too.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, it's a great pleasure to learn from you today. We will continue our sessions every Saturday, and today we are going to deal with public speaking. The outline of the session today, we are going to go through the topic of public speaking in different perspectives. First of all, after doing the warm-up activities, we will go through the concept of public speaking and the basics of public speaking. What are the key principles of public speaking? There are some misconceptions related to public speaking, and how could we change these misconceptions throughout the different parts of our session. We will get deeper role we have. Do we need public speaking or not? This is part of our session today. We will go through the different types of sessions or public speech sessions. We will go and dig deeper into the process and what are the different phases and steps from starting to deliver or thinking of delivering a public speech up to evaluating and reflecting on the speech or presentation you delivered. Then we will see different styles of public speakers, and we would share different characteristics of each style. We will end with on-spot speeches, when you are asked to deliver a public speech when you are not prepared, something that is not expected at all. And we are all exposed to that situation in many different occasions. And of course, finally, we will end with question and answer session in which we will share our concerns and answer the questions of each other. And of course, as we do every week, all the materials and extra material will be shared with Mr. Said to share with you all. This is the outline of our session today. And from time to time, I will stop sharing my screen and get to the chat box to get your valuable input. So it's an interactive session. We need to share our input with each other and learn from each other. First of all, we are going to do the first activity. It's a watch and reflect activity. We are going to watch a scene from an Arabic movie for the famous comedy actor Fuad al-Muhandis. It's a 2-minute scene from the Arabic movie called The Fake Millionaire or Al-Millionaire Al-Muzayyaf. What we would like to do is when you reflect, please write down or think of this public speech. What do you think of the public speech you are going to see and how successful he is as a public speaker? So what we are going to do now, again, is that we are going to watch a 2-minute scene from an Arabic movie, and we are going to go back to the chat box after we watch the scene to reflect on this scene. Are you ready? Let's start.
النهارده هنتكلم فيها عن مشروع من اخطر المشاريع الاسيوطيه الا وهو مشروع المطر الصناعي artificial rain. بمعنى تفاعل غاز الاكسجين مع ثاني اكسيد النيترون. وعشان نحضر المركب ده لازم نحطم البريتون. نحطمه في ايه؟ تحت درجه حراره وانصهار توازي الكتله في المربع المشع. بمعنى خلي بالكم معايا تربيع زائد 2 ألف يا 4 تساوي ألف كاف ر 2 زائد 4 كاف ماشي 5 كسر التربيعي ل 12 42 زائد 67 كل ده اهو في كاف يا 4 زائد 85 كاف يا زائد ألف نون مهم نون في 4 في 4 تساوي 95 هنا أس 8. ده إذا جينا قلنا 43 في هنا 43 قدامها 4 أصفار في ألف ياء أس 2 زائد كاف نون ي د 4 الجذر التربيعي بتاعهم 5 في لا مش في ده كل ده على 82 عين غين واو تساوي مربع 68. اذا جبنا مربع 68 ده هنا اهو 68 في الحته دي in this place زائد 8 14 30 التليفون بتاعتنا مليون يساوي 14 8 2 6 شرطة عشرية 962. يبقى الناتج 14 بليون 862 و962 من 1000 على صفر.
Hello.
Hello. Let's
Assalamu
get
alaikum,
back. Alaikum salam. Let's get to the chat box. What do you think of this clip? This is a teaching session, a training session. What do you think? Yes, Mr. Ahmed. His way of presenting scenes convincing from the very beginning as he uses visuals. Yes. He's not facing the audience. Thank you so much. We will see if this is good point or not. He's busy on the blackboard and didn't turn with the student. Thank you so much. Speaking Arabic to English people. Yes. So the language. It is very complicated, not convincing. Thank you so much. Complicated things. Turned his back, teacher-centered. Yes, Mr. Man. The language. There is no interaction, no communication. Bothering others, cannot motivate as his students. Thank you. No interaction, boring and difficult. Dominant, he's dominating the scene all the time. He cannot express his message. Thank you so much. So if we get back to the scene, we will see that some of your notes, although all the above, he was successful and his audience understood him. Maybe teacher-centered, yes. So we could see a 2-minute scene. He cannot contact with his students. Even if he is correct, the style is not engaging. Thank you so much. No motivation, no engagement, no interaction. Of course, the topic is great. He's talking about a serious topic or thought about the artificial rain and how to make it out, but we are after the way he is delivering his speech. So, as a teacher, teaching students in classrooms, as a teacher trainer or mentor doing training or mentoring for teachers, as a school principal or a school supervisor, you are to give public speaking, to give public speeches or presentations. He doesn't check their understanding. Thank you so much. He is giving a content in a great way. But what about the reaction of the participants? We could see nothing about how they are following him, and if they are following him because they understand what he's telling them or not. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your great contributions. So it's only lecturing, and he is only lecturing. And is this the right model to do when you do public speaking? We will go through the session and see. Of course, no. Thank you so much. But his audience followed him and respond finally by clapping. Yes, I totally agree that by the end of the scene, they are clapping. But what about the motivation? What about the interaction? What about the engagement? What about the culture? What about the background of the participants and the public speaker? So this scene is a great warm-up activity for us to think about the teaching, the training and mentoring situations in which we deliver public speeches for different audience. There are different things we are after, and this is what we are going to go through this session. I guess the clapping was a comic one. I agree with you. And I respect all those who might disagree with this, but I think they gave this round of clapping simply because they would like to end the scene and no more. Thank you so much for all your contributions, and let's get back to our second warm-up activity. Now it's not time for a scene as the first activity. Now it's time to read and reflect. We are going to have or read a quote from the American writer Mark Twain, and we are going to get back to the chat box to give our reflections, input, and thoughts about this quote. I'll give you 2 minutes to read, and then we will share our reflections on the chat box again. So here is the quote. Let's read it and write down your input on the chat box. So let's start a 2-minute reading and reflection activity. One minute left. Time is over. Let's get to the chat box to share our thoughts. What do you think about the quote? Maybe he considered delivering a public speech more complicated and difficult than a presentation is. Thank you. It's not easy to be brief, concise, and still to the point, for sure. There is a big difference between presenting and giving a speech. In giving speech, we have to cater for the audience from different perspectives, of course. Yes. To speak for 5 minutes requires focusing on the main points, and this is the most difficult part of giving a very short or brief speech or presentation. If you have 2 hours to present, then you have a lot of time to share lots of ideas and thoughts and different techniques and perspectives. But if you have 5 minutes, so you need to be very concise. A public speech requires high and important skills. Yes, and this is the core of our session today. Thank you so much. A public speech requires, yes, summarizing important points is a challenging skill everyone needs to learn. And as teachers, trainers, and mentors, we need to do this. Precise is precious. Thank you so much for this nice phrase. To give a 5-minute presentation is harder than a long one, of course, because you need to keep focus in a very short time. Thank you so much. What else? Public speech requires higher order thinking skill. Thank you so much. We need HOTS. Thank you. Less time, more concentration, clear message. Thank you. He thinks that to speak words is easy, but to produce own thoughts is difficult. Thank you so much. To be ready to the main point, you must be focused and concentrate. And this is the hardest part of this process. How to keep brief, how to keep concise in a very short time. Hi, Mr. Sam. Actually, I don't agree with him. Of course, we could agree or disagree. Of course, speaking needs focus and fluency, but it's not the impossible task to take 2 weeks. Yes, it might be some kind of metaphor. That means that he or she needs lots of time. Brief speech needs more preparation to deliver than the main point. And back to Ms. Asma thought, sometimes you might have no time to prepare for an on-spot public speaking activity you are asked to do. So you might not have time, and yes, on-spot situations, and we will have some practical tips to be ready for such situations. As teachers, teacher trainers, mentors, we are all exposed to such situations in different occasions. So we need to be ready for this. Thank you so much for all your great contributions, and let's get deeper into public speaking. So we all reflected on the scene from an Arabic movie and the quote from Mark Twain. If you want me to give you a 2-hour presentation, I'm ready today. If you want if you want only a 5-minute speech or presentation, it will take me 2 weeks to prepare. It takes me more time to prepare for a shorter speech rather than the time I need to prepare for a longer one. First of all, we need to know what is public speaking. In general, public speaking is performing presentations to audience. There are lots and lots about differences of public speaking and presentation. Generally, when you do a presentation or a public speech, you do something interrelated to each other. Because when you do public speaking, you have audience, you have core message, you have outcome that you would like to impress or convey to your participants. When you do a presentation, you have some slides, you have visuals, you have different aids to show your core message. So they are interrelated to each other. In this session, when we say public speaking, we mean presentation, and when we say presentation, we mean public speaking, because they are interrelated to each other. If you are giving a public speech, you might have some PowerPoint slides, you might have any other technique to show your data, to inspire the people and to impact on the participants. So public speaking is giving speeches, is giving presentation. And some people might say if we give the speech to 50 or 100 persons, this is a public speech. Some experts think that when you talk to one person, you are giving a public speech. So if you are talking to one person, it's similar to talking to 50 persons. I know the capacity is different. I know the situation is different. The techniques required are different, but generally, whatever the number of the people, this is a public speaking situation in general. How to deal with each one, this is the key question which we will dig deeper through this session. What about the basics of persuasion? When we do a public speaking, when we do a presentation, in general, we like
Mr. Samir.
ربنا كمان عليا تاريخ عيد ميلاد صاحبي. بس فاطمة عفيفي صوتك بعيد. هذا فيديو الصوت طالع مش عارف.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Samir. Yes,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
It's okay.
Sorry for this technical issue.
No problem. Go on.
Okay, thank you so much. So public speaking, again, is performing presentations or speeches to the audience. If you talk to one person, if you talk to 50 to 100 persons, then you are giving a presentation aided with different visuals. Or if you are giving only a speech, this is public speaking in general. Again, the Greek philosopher Aristotle told us that there are three basics of persuasion. When we give a public speech, we would like to persuade the others. In order to persuade others, there are three principles we need to have. First of all, ethos, and this is a Latin word. Ethos refers to the credibility of the speaker. How expert and how skillful the person is for this area of knowledge or experience or practice he is talking about. The second component or the second principle is logos. This is the logic behind the conclusion drawn by the speaker. When you give a speech, you have opening, as we will see later on, you have opening, you have body of your presentation or speech, then you have a conclusion. How you support the conclusion using the logic, how you use data, information, evidence to support this part of, or this is a principle for or one of the basics of persuasion. The last one is pathos. This is the emotional ability for speaker audience connection. This is how the speaker or the presenter could attract the attention and keep the attention of the participants. So we need credibility of the speaker, we need the logic of what the speaker is saying, and at the same time the emotions, how he could impact, inspire, encourage, motivate, engage the different participants. So these are three of the key principles of or basics of persuasion that we will need in order to deliver a good public speech or a good presentation. However, there are some misconceptions about public speaking. The first one is some people think that you cannot learn to be a good public speaker. It is something natural. You should be born with this talent. If you are not a good public speaker, you cannot learn this. And we will, when we complete the four misconceptions, we will discuss each one in the chat box. The second one is that I can only learn public speaking through practice. So it's only practice is the only way to develop your public speaking. And this is one of the key misconceptions. Public speaking is just a delivery. It's a matter of how you deliver the speech or the presentation. The content of the speech does not matter. So whatever you say, it's a matter of how you deliver, not what to deliver. And this is one of the key misconceptions. Reading a speech is the best way to ensure a good speech. If you have a good script and you are good at reading it and you did some rehearsals before you start, then when you come in front of the people, then you will deliver or read the speech well. This is the best way to ensure a good speech. I will keep the four misconceptions on the screen for 30 seconds, and then we will get to the chat box to see what do you think about those four misconceptions. Let's start reading them again, and we will get back to the chat box to discuss four of them. You have 30 seconds to read them. Time is over. Let's get back to the chat box to discuss the four misconceptions. What do you think about the four misconceptions? The first one, you cannot learn to be a good speaker. As practice makes it perfect, we can learn how to be a good speakers. Practice is very important. Of course, practice makes perfect. So as long as we do lots and lots of practice of public speaking and presentation practice, we could learn or we could improve our skills and the ability to deliver public speaking. So it's a matter of practice. Besides, what else? What we can do to develop our public speaking? What do you think? What do you think about the misconceptions? To be confident, yes. So not all good speakers are born to be good speakers. They practice, they learn, they make mistakes, they learn from mistakes. You can learn as you listen and imitate, so this improving speaking. Yes, you learn from others and you give the speech in your own way. You deliver your own technique, learning from others. Have a good message or a true one, yes. So it's not a matter of delivery only, it's a matter of content and message. To have a good message, a true one and not fake. Knowledge, skills, and presentation skills. These all help us to develop public speaking. Public speaking is a talent at first, yes. And if we can improve through learning new techniques. So part of it is the talent, and the other part is practice and learning. Everything we do needs a skill to be done well, yes. So the more we develop our skills, the more we do things better, yes, sure. Content is the message we convey. So it is as important as the way we present, yes. So we need to have a balance of how we deliver and what we deliver. To know or to persuade the learners with your information is simply the simple way that's suitable for everyone, yes. So we need to be fully aware of our participants, of our audience, and pick up the techniques that help us convey our message in a best way for our audience. We should consider the skills more than the content. The content is real for sure and trustworthy, yes. So if you are an expert of X area, for example, then you develop the techniques of delivery, then you master the public speaking skills, and you master it as long as you practice it. Many great orators, yes, were terrible public speakers when they first started. So these skills can be taught and learned, yes. Lots of influencers and people who gave historic public speeches and presentations were born with some part of talent, and then they learned and then they developed their skills. Thank you so much. What else? What do you think about the four misconceptions? Is reading a speech only the best way to deliver a good speech? What do you think? Of course, no. Yes, we need to develop our delivery techniques. We need to master the content of the message we need to deliver. Yes, so there are lots and lots of things to do. Yes, part of our work is talent, and part of our work is learning from our mistakes and from others' experiences. To respect our listener, thank you so much. We respect our listeners when we learn about them, when we give the presentation or the public speech in a way that suits them and fits with their needs. Some speakers depend on battles only to have a sweeping impact. No, we need to have, as Aristotle told us more than 2,000 years ago, it's a mixture of the three components. So we need the credibility of the speaker, we need the emotion of the speaker, and we need the logic. Yes, to be back and learn. Catchy titles help us deliver good speeches. Yes, and we need to develop our speaking by practice and by learning from our mistakes and others' experience. Thank you so much for your great contributions, and let's get back to share our screen and continue. As teachers, teacher trainers and mentors, supervisors, educators, of course, we do public speaking and presentations almost every day when we teach, when we train, when we do mentoring, when we do supervision or educational leadership. So it's something important for all of us. Personally, the public speaking helps to build confidence. Self-confidence for yourself and confidence with the participants who work with you and who work for you. It helps also to have better self-expression. You would like to convey your message. You have core messages you need to pass to your participants. So when you are better at public speaking and the presentation, then you could express yourself in a better way. You win discussions and debates, and one part of the public speeches are debates, when you need to defend your ideas and thoughts and perspectives. It helps to handle critical situations. Sometimes you defend something related to change the context where you work. Some people are against you. This is a critical situation. And later on in this session, we will go through how to deal with emergencies, hard questions, hard situations, and so on. This is personally for you, and professionally, it helps to enhance your professional image. When you are asked to deliver teaching, teacher training, mentoring, supervision, educational leadership, then you are part of your confidence and the confidence of the participants who work with or for you. It helps to develop better self-expression. You could express yourself in a better way. It helps to develop the way you deliver your personal image. It helps you to win discussions. When you are skillful with public speaking and presentations, you could defend your perspectives and win discussions and debates. When you are in a critical situation, when someone is against a certain type of change you are calling for, then the public speaking and presentation skills will help you to handle such critical situations. This is for you as a person or as an individual. For the profession you do as a teacher trainer, mentor, supervisor, educational leader, you are part of the organization or the association you work for. A school, an idara, a directorate, whatever the place you work at. So it helps to enhance the professional image. When you deliver good public speech or good presentation, this will help develop the image of the organization you work for. It helps you to convince and support, to convince people of your thoughts and ideas, and at the same time you support them. It helps to build credibility. The credibility of the organization is part of the credibility of the individuals who work for this organization. So as long as you deliver professional public speeches and presentations, you get credibility for yourself as an individual and for your organization. It helps to empower and lead. You work with the students, with teachers, with different educators on different levels. Then when you deliver good public speeches with 5 persons, 50 teachers, 100 mentees, then you help to empower them and lead, because you inspire, you convince, and you persuade. What we need to focus on and confirm is that the public speaking is important for both. Important for you as a person and for your profession at the same time. What about the types of public speeches? There are different classifications and categories of public speech. According to the objective, we have 5 types of public speeches. First of all, informative. This is a speech in which you would like to share some information. For example, by the end of the semester or by the end of the year, a school principal is giving a presentation to the school board or the board of parents and teachers about how the semester or how this school year went on. He's showing them numbers of students registered for the school, how many who attended the exams, how many passed the exams, how many who would go through a second round of exams. So this is only to share information. There is another one which is persuasive. You need to persuade people to do something. We need to convince and persuade. When you convince, you encourage people to agree or to believe in something you already believe in. When you persuade people, you convince them to do something. So convince is to persuade them to have the same opinion, the same perspective. To convince is to act based on what you have convinced them, and to act upon this. Special occasion, for example, some Arabic teachers are invited to talk in certain religious occasion, such as Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, Laylat al-Nisf min Sha'ban, such occasions. So they need to deliver certain speeches related to the occasion and how important this occasion is, and what are the lessons learned from the events that happen in such occasions. Entertaining. Some people give public speeches only to entertain and to help people have fun. This is a different type of public speeches. Some people give some kind of motivational public speeches. For example, if you are nominated for elections and you run for elections for parliament, for any association on any level, then you need to help motivate participants to vote. So you give a motivational speech. For each type of these different objective-based public speeches, then you have different techniques and delivery style you need to do. Based on preparation or according to preparation, there are prepared public speeches and on-spot public speeches. Prepared speeches, this is what you prepare for before you deliver. And as we get back to the speech or the quote of Mark Twain, the prepared is the most easiest or the easiest one because you have time to prepare. The difficult one or the hardest one is the on spot, when you are asked to deliver a speech immediately. You are not prepared, and this will not be a challenge, inshallah. As we go through the session, we will see how we could be ready for on spot public speeches. According to delivery style, again, we have informative, when you inform people about, or you share information with people. Role play, when you act as someone and you would like to motivate people. There is another delivery style, storytelling. You tell a story, and storytelling is fun for some people, and it's a way to attract the attention and keep the attention. Whatever the type of the public speech or presentation you are going to give, there are some steps or some techniques you go through in order to deliver a good speech or a good presentation. What about the process? Now we all agree that public speaking and presentation skills are important for all of us as teachers, teacher trainers, mentors, supervisors, and educational leaders. There are different types. There are different principles related to the credibility of the speaker, the emotions he uses to impact the others, and the logic behind what he says. The other important thing is that when we prepare for delivering a session, we go through a process of 5 steps from being asked or nominated to deliver a speech up to delivering this speech and reflecting on it. First of all, we need to do some kind of research. Research of what? Research of the content we are going to do, and at the same time, the way we are going to deliver. And for each step or phase of this process, we will dig deeper very soon. The second step is design. So we did a research. We collected lots of information about the participant, their backgrounds, about the topic we're going to deliver, about the best way we will use to deliver. Now it's time to design our speech or presentation, what we will say, what we will show, how we will do this. The next step is rehearsal. Before you start, you do a rehearsal. And the rehearsal will help you get confidence, will get lots and lots of practice, and will help you deliver a good speech. Then it's time to do or to deliver the public speech or the presentation. So it's time for delivery. When we deliver the speech, the story is over. Of course, no, the story is not over, because we have a 5th or last step, which is evaluation. So we have 5 steps, started with research, then design, rehearsal, delivery, and finally evaluation of what we have done. Let's get each step or phase of this process and dig deeper into each one. First of all, what do we do for research? To do research, we are nominated to deliver or we are asked, or we have a task to deliver a presentation or a speech. What do we need to search for? We need to ask ourselves some questions, and we need to prepare the answers for these questions. First of all, who are your audience? Are they students? How old are they? What are their backgrounds? So we need to learn more about our audience. And where will the speech be presented? the place? Is it in a classroom? Is it in a big conference hall? Why? Because when we get to the delivery phase or step, we will look into how we would arrange the room we will deliver the speech in. This is one or two key questions we need to ask ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, why do you deliver the speech? What is the objective? What is the core objective you give a speech or a presentation? Are you going to inform people? Are you going to persuade or convince them? Are you going to inspire them? And how will you deliver this? So now you are aware of the audience, aware of the place or the context. You are aware of the core objectives and the way you will deliver. What is the core message of the speech? You have objectives and you have a core message. What is the core message? Because the core message will help you choose the technique that you will use to deliver the speech or presentation. What are possible questions or objections? For each presentation or each speech, you should expect, you should anticipate that there will be more questions. And if you are calling for some kind of change in any context, you will find that some people will object, will resist what you say. So could you anticipate or expect or enlist some of the questions that the participants might raise? And of course, you need to think of answers for their questions in order not to be, in order not to have such questions as something sudden and you would find that you couldn't do something or say something while you are delivering the speech. At the same time, will they object to what you are delivering, and how would you meet their objections and try to persuade or convince them? So in this phase, we are after preparing for our presentation or speech by learning more about the audience, about the place, about the objectives, about the way we are going to deliver, about the core message and the potential questions and objections, and how we could meet or answer the questions and keep the objections or help the participants be convinced as they raise some objections. Then we move to the second step, which is the design. When we go through the design, we are after the structure, how we will structure or make the format of our speech or presentation. For the structure, the first component is opening, how we will open our speech or statement. And the opening is very, very important, simply because it will help, as you said in the chat box, catchy titles. Will you use a statement? Will you use a question? Will you share an incident? Will you start with a compliment for the participants? So what is the opening? How will you open your statement? How will you open your presentation or speech? Then how will you deliver your message? To deliver whatever the message you have, you need to do what to deliver a good message. You need to organize the content in clear points. So you have a core message, but what you need to do is you need to write down, to organize your speech in clear points. You are going to talk about point A, then point B, then point C, and you need these points to be consistent and comprehensive. From point A leads to point B leads to point C, in order for the people to find the logic that Aristotle talked about more than 2,000 years ago as principle of as one of the principles or basics of persuasion. Do not use negative wordings. Even if you are calling for change, even if you would like people to change some habits, some culture, some mindset you do not agree with, you need to use positive wordings. You do not overuse the information. You have a lot of information and you have limited time. What you need to do is to keep your speech in clear points and brief, to the focus, to the point. Use easy words. This words easy on your tongue as a presenter or a speaker, and easy for the participants to remember in order to keep impact on those people. Then you need to have evidence. The third part of the structure is evidence. To show evidence, will help support your logic. This evidence could be a demonstration, could be demonstrations. You could show examples, you could show facts, you could show this testimonials, statistics. You could use, of course, the PowerPoint presentation, Excel sheets, and the charts in order to help people get the evidence you have to support your point of view you demonstrated in your speech. You need to get a closure. So now we have opening, we moved from opening to message, and we moved from throughout the message, we keep giving or showing evidence. Then we come to the closure. The closure should be simple. It should help to convince, inform, persuade, and inspire. And we will see how we could do each of them. First of all, in order to convince, what we need to do to convince, to repeat major benefits. If you would like to impact on people, if you need them to make benefits out of your speech or presentation, you need to repeat briefly the major benefits. Again, remember that we are on the final step of the structure. We are doing the closure of the speech or presentation. So we need to repeat the major benefits just to help them, remind them. We could use a quote, for example, because quotes are short phrases that leave impact with lots of people. To inform, you need to repeat your keywords again briefly. You need to recap the steps of the process. If you are talking about a process of doing something, then you need to recap or mention the steps very briefly. To persuade, you need to state actions and benefits, what we will do and what benefits we will get. You need to give final recommendations for your participants to be aware what's next after your speech or presentation. And finally, to inspire, we need to throw down a challenger. You ask them for something that might challenge the status quo, the current situation. You need to appeal to their personal motives in order to help them act upon the speech or presentation you do. There might be a question raised, what is the difference between, again, to convince and to persuade? To convince is to help people have the same opinion or perspective or to agree on what you say. To persuade is to help them be convinced, share the same thoughts or perspectives with you, and to act upon this. So to convince is related only to sharing and having the same ideas and thoughts. To persuade is to have the same ideas and thoughts and act upon them. So these are the four points: to convince, to inform, to persuade, and to inspire. This is what we need to do very briefly in a short time as the final part of the closure we design to use to end our speech or presentation. Let's move to the second part of design, which is time. What do we need to do for time? Again, let's get back and remember the example or the quote of Mark Twain. If you have, if you would like me to deliver 2-hour presentation or speech, I'm ready now. If you would like me to deliver a 5-minute speech or presentation, I need 2 weeks to prepare. I need a long time. So the shorter the time you give me to do a presentation or a speech, the more time I need to prepare. This is why we need to know our time limit and to go under it. If you have 10 minutes to deliver a speech or a presentation, then you need to design a speech or a presentation that will fit into 7 or 8 minutes. So in design phase, you need to keep your time limit and at the same time to prepare for going under the time limit, because you might have some technical issues like what happened with us today. You might have any kind of interruption because of anything. You do not master the scene all the time, and technology might not help all the time, and the logistics might not help all the time. So if you have 30-minute speech or presentation, prepare it for 22 or 25 minutes. The second thing is to break apart your presentation or speech. Keep it in chunks, on segments and parts, in order to be aware. You have opening, you have message, you have evidence, you have closure. You estimate the unknown. This is why we ask all the time to go under the time limit, because there are some possible time that might go uncontrolled by you or by the organizers, simply because of technology, logistics, any other thing. You need to have a backup plan. If technology, if you have a PowerPoint presentation to support your speech and your laptop had some kind of technical trouble, if there is a power cut, if there is any emergency, you should always have a backup plan. You prepare for plan B and plan C in some cases, in order not to lose solutions. And sometimes some people got lost when they have no alternative plans. So this will help you make use of the resource of the time and do well on your speech. What about now? We did the research phase. Now we did the design phase of both structure and time. Before delivery, we need to do a rehearsal. Yes, we need to do a rehearsal. Some people might say rehearsal. Yes, we need to do a rehearsal. Even if you are an experienced teacher, trainer, mentor, supervisor, school principal, educator, whatever the job you do and whatever the long experience you have, you need to do a rehearsal. You can do the rehearsal live. You can do this in front of your colleagues, in front of your family members, in front of the mirror. You could do a video recorded one. You could do an audio recorded rehearsal. So you have different ways to do this rehearsal. What to notice when you rehearse? You need to notice timing. For example, you use a timer. You have 10 minutes to deliver the speech. You need to start the timer and see how much time you will take to do this. And the body language, how you use your body parts to deliver your message. The tone, how you use your voice, and the delivery continuity, how you continue delivering. Are there filler? Are there these are filler words or filler phrases? The less we use such fillers, the more we are competent to deliver our speech. The message effectiveness and the audience possible response. You need to think of how effective is your message. When you do the live rehearsal, the video or audio, then you reflect on the rehearsal, then you would see how effective is your message and what are the possible responses from your audience. When do you know that you are ready? You did a rehearsal, either live, through video, audio recording. When you know you are ready to deliver your speech, there are some signs that tell you that you are ready to deliver this speech. You are ready when you deliver the speech naturally without filler words. When these fillers stops, then you are ready to deliver your speech. When you are able to present without visuals. If you depend on the visuals all the time, for sure, we all need PowerPoint presentations, we need slides, we need Excel files to show some statistics, numbers, charts, and things like this. But when you are able to go through your speech without visuals, okay. When you are able to synchronize your speech with the slide transitions, if you are using PowerPoint presentation, there should be some kind of agreement when you talk and when you move from one slide to another, from one part of the PowerPoint presentation to the other. When you are comfortable with your movement, you need to be aware of how you move in the area of your speech. And one of the key advice that help us to deliver good speech, if you have time and if there is an opportunity to experience or to practice the speech or the presentation in the real place you are going to deliver the speech, that would be great. Because sometimes you practice at home, you practice at school, and when you move to the conference room or to the meeting room, you might find that the scene is not relaxing for you. The context is not relaxing for you. So if you are able to go earlier before the time of the presentation or speech, and you try to deliver the speech in the same place that you will do the live speech or presentation, that would be great. Now we did 3 phases, 3 steps. we did the research, we prepared for our speech or presentation, we designed the speech or presentation, we did a rehearsal, and now it's time for the key phase of delivery. And when we come to delivery, we have lots and lots of points to talk about. First of all, we need to talk about the attire, the clothes, the appearance, the look. And there are different things to take care of. Either you are a man or a woman. Wear according to the occasion. In some occasions, there must be formal clothes. Then you wear formal. So you wear according to the occasion and the culture of the place you are going to deliver a speech in. You wear something comfy, something which makes you relax, something which is not annoying for you. You do not overuse accessories or colors. Generally, some people tend to use bright colors and things like that. Some people might use lots of accessories that cause noise or that cause other people to distract. No, what we need to do is to use nice colors, not so many colors, and very limited accessories if we need. Do not wear clothes with graphics, because this will distract the attention of the participants. Some people in some situations might wear shirts or blouses with maps with some very bright graphics that might distract the attention of the participants. Please do not do this when you are delivering a speech. And again, wear according to the occasion. And in some conferences and in some events and in some organizations, there is a dress code. When you approach the organizers of the conference or the event, please refer back to the dress code to follow this. And remember that people are here in the conference room or in the presentation or speech room to hear what you say. They are after your credibility, your logic, and your emotions. They are not after the clothes or the colors or the accessories you have. They are here to hear what you say, to be inspired, informed, convinced, persuaded by you, and not to see and to be astonished by the clothes or the colors or the graphics you have. This is related to the way how you look as a presenter or as a speaker. The second part is your voice. Now we are after the tools of the speaker. Now you have the way to deliver. Now you have the content to deliver. We are after the look or the tools you have while delivering. The voice. The voice, we need to take care of our tone. What does the voice express? If you would like to show them that the situation is after anger, then you need to use a tone that expresses this. If you are showing some kind of sympathy with situation, then you need to use the voice that tells them this. So you need to use a tone that is expressive or that express your own perspective. Intonation, how your voice rises or falls according to the situation, according to the content and the delivery style you use. The rate, how fast or slow is your voice. In some political speeches, we could see that they would like to motivate the crowd, so they are fast. In some sad speeches during funerals or something like this, we could see that the voice is slow. So these are your tools, and you should play with these tools to deliver the best speech and the best presentation. What you need to do is to analyze your current speaking voice. As long as you practice, as long as you do the rehearsal, analyze your current speaking voice to look into the tone, the intonation, the rate, to project your voice, to see well or to practice your voice and show how you are able to play with your voice, to slow down and practice deep breathing. Sometimes some people are talking too fast. They need to slow down. They need to practice deep breathing. You need to release your jaw, not to talk very fast. You need to drink plenty of water, and water is very important. When you could see lots and lots of conferences, you could see that there is a bottle and a glass of water on the podium. the place where the speaker or the presenter is standing. This is important for the speaker because you, from time to time while presenting, you need to drink some water. And as a key advice, before you start your presentation or speech, drink some water in order not to impact on your voice negatively. So this is related to attire and voice. What about the body language? How you use the body parts to deliver your core message? We are after different points. We are after the posture. You need to face the audience. Back to the scene of Fuad al-Muhandis. One of the key comments you all shared is that he was not facing the audience. No, in order to motivate, to engage, to keep the audience interact, you need to face them. And if you are using a projector to show, or a data show, to show PowerPoint slides or any data on the screen, you need to be fully aware of how you do the translation from one slide to another, from one part to another, in order to keep facing the audience most of the time or all the time. If you could do this, you need to stand straight, not to stand on one leg and keep the other curled. No, you need to stand straight. For gestures, you need to use your hand gestures, but not too much. You need to keep the audience attention, and you need to attract them to you. What about the eye contact? The eye contact is the way how you use your eyes to keep people attracted. You need to keep and maintain the eye contact with all. I know when you deliver this to 100 participants, this is something hard, but you need to make the participants feel that you allocate your eye contact to each of them. You need to point to your visuals when you need. What about facial expressions? Expressions in your face, always use the smile and do not fidget. Do not show that you are not interested, because the impression you have on your face might go to the participants you have. In some cases, in most cases, we present while we stand up, but in some cases, we might present or we might deliver our speech while seated. In this case, use a projector or data show rather than a laptop, because the projector will help all the people to see well. Try to test the viewing ability from different chairs. You come earlier to the place where you will deliver the scene, where you will deliver the speech or presentation, and try viewing. If you have 20 or 30 chairs, make sure that all from different chairs could see. Make eye contact with all audience again. So if you deliver a speech while you are standing or sitting, make eye contact with all the audience and choose the right chair and use a pen or a pencil. Don't use your finger to point at something, because in some culture this is some kind of offensive actions. So we are after some key tips when we do the presentation or speech while we are standing or while we are seated. What about the room setup? How we set up the room, we do the setup of the room. There are different styles. We have the theater, like the big speeches or presentations. We have the classroom, like the one we watched on the scene of Fuad al-Muhandis. We have the conference, similar to different conferences you attend. We have a banquet. This is similar to what we have while we are invited to a meal. You have some round or square tables, and people are round tables. We have a U shape when the presenter or the speaker is in front of a three sides shape, like the U letter. What we need to do to make sure that the room setup is beneficial for our presentation, we need to ensure the audience can participate. They could see the screen, they could see the presenters, they could see everything, and they could engage. If they raise your hands, you as a presenter or a speaker, you could see them. We need to ensure the audience can see the presenters. There is no walls, or there is no barriers that could distract their attention. We need to ensure that the audience can see the screen and presenters, both of them. Some people in some places might see the screen and might not see the speakers, or vice versa. No, we need to make sure that they see both, to ensure the style is suitable for the speech or presentation. Again, we have theater style, classroom style, conference style, banquet style, U-shape. According to the content, the core message, the context, the background of the participants, the number of the participants, we are going to choose the style that is the most suitable for what we are going to deliver or convey. What about emergencies? As we said before, be prepared for the unknown or the unprepared. So we might have some kind of emergency. For emergency, if you have an emergency, make a pause, a very short pause to see what is the emergency and how could you fix it, or ask for others to help you. Do not apologize. In some cases, you are not the person who caused the trouble, or the trouble is out of control, is not within the hand of someone. So you don't need to apologize as long as you are not the person who caused the trouble. You might adjust the content. For example, if you have power cut and you were using a PowerPoint presentations with lots of videos, pictures, visuals, then you are asked to adjust this as a power cut happened in order to deliver the speech orally only. Then this again, we are back to the advice of have a backup plan. So you have plan A with full capacity of technology, of logistics, and when we have plan B with very limited resources, and we are asked to convey the core message of the presentation. Mention the key points. From time to time, you need, when you have emergency and you need to make use of time, mention the key points again to keep people's attention with you. Check your backup plan from time to time to make sure that you have plans and your plans are ready to work in case of emergency. Drink water when you forget something, because when you get some water, this will help you to do what? This will give you time to relax, and at the same time to get what you forget. What about pressure? Sometimes when you deliver a presentation or a speech, you are under pressure. How to handle the pressure? First of all, there are different types of pressure. The first type of pressure is tension. You feel that you are under pressure. You feel tension of you or of the participants. What you need to do is to drink water. This will keep you relaxed. To have deep breath. This will help you relax. You need to understand that being nervous is normal, and you need to practice a lot. So to be nervous, this is something normal. But to let being nervous disrupt what you do, this is not normal. And you need to practice more. So being nervous at the beginning of the speech or at some points of pressure, this is something normal. The second type is you have hard or difficult audience. When someone of the audience did something or a behavior that will impact the others, first of all, if the behavior is simple and it's not repeated, then ignore the behavior and let it go. The first type of pressure is tension. Sometimes the speaker or the presenter feels that he is nervous. First of all, to be nervous, this is something normal. What will keep this nervousness be normal, or you get rid of this, is to know that this is normal and to practice a lot. Drink water, have deep breath. This will help keep your tension away. The other thing is that you might have hard or difficult audience. In case some of the audience did something that might be disruptive to the others, if the behavior is simple and it's not repeated, then please do repeat it. In case the behavior is disruptive or impact negatively on other participants, then you need to stop it gently with a gesture, with a facial expression, with a gentle phrase. In all cases, as a speaker or a presenter, you need to respect all, and at the same time, you need to keep the energy and the positivity of all participants. So it's a hard balance to do while you are having some or one of the difficult or hard participants. You might have hard or difficult questions. In all cases, in all questions you get, first of all, listen to the question, but rephrase the question, caution the question, try to soften. Some people might raise, especially in teacher training and mentoring and the supervision and leadership meetings and public speeches and presentation, some people raise questions in order to do some kind of criticism for those who are leading the situation. Even if this is out of your control or not related to the area of administration or area of knowledge of yours, try to soften the situation, try to respond and to bridge, try to link the question into the topic you are talking about or into the situation or context you are in. You need to, from the very beginning, you need to set time for closure of any presentation or speech, and to set time for question and answer session. Because if you let people raise questions as long as you are delivering the speech or the presentation, you might be interrupted, and the participants follow-up of your ideas and thoughts flow will be impacted negatively. So set time for closure, set time for question and answer, and from the very beginning ask people to write down or to take some notes and to share when you get to the question and answer session. This will help you. And something related to the difficult question, when you are asked something that's not out, which is out of topic, you have no problem to get or to share a very gentle reminder that this is out of the topic, and we could think of or share later on, or during the break we could do this. This will help keep the time or save the time for your presentation or speech, and save the time of the participants. Now we are after evaluation. Now we did a research, we prepared ourselves for the presentation or speech. We did the second part, which is design, the second phase, which is design. We did the third part, which is rehearsal, either live or recorded audio or video, and we did the delivery. Now we are after evaluation. What we do for evaluation is that if the presentation or the speech is recorded, we need to check the video or the audio and evaluate your speech. And you evaluate the way you deliver, how people interacted with you, how the content was delivered, how the core message was delivered. So you have lots of things to think about. You need to ask for evaluation from experienced persons. Some people might attend the presentation or the speech, they are skillful speakers. You could ask them to give their feedback. You could ask for evaluation from colleagues, because they are aware of the needs of participants and how your presentation or speech could meet the needs of those participants. You need to document and reflect on pros and cons, the strengths and the challenges of your presentation or speech. And when you get back to this reflection or reflective journal, you could learn from your experiences or from your mistakes. So when you get back to the audio or video, when you ask for evaluation or feedback from experienced persons and colleagues, when you reflect and write down or document this reflection, this will help you make use of the experience of giving presentations and speeches. And from time to time, you will learn from the practice, you will learn from your mistakes and reflection on the challenges you have. What about delivery styles? To deliver a speech or a presentation, there are different styles. First of all, there is a teacher style. A teacher style is a storyteller. He is telling a story. He is skilled at listening and linking information. We are not after saying which style is better than. We could use different styles in one speech or in one presentation, but we are after showing different styles and how each style is having certain characteristics. So as a teacher, speaker or presenter, you are a storyteller. You are skilled in listening. So when you have difficult situations, when you have difficult audience, you need to listen to them and to link the information. A host is someone who is flexible with all. He or she helps all the audience to be engaged and to enjoy at the same time. So he or she is after the enjoyment and the engagement of all participants. There is a coach. A coach is a passionate person who motivates the audience. He tends to go through the hard topics with energy. Whatever the topic and how hard the topic is, he has the energy similar to the sports coach. He keeps people energized all the time and working together all the time. We have a headliner. This is an inspirational person with humor. He has a sense of humor and he makes use of this sense of humor to get or to attract the attention of people. He makes captivating opening and closure. He is very skillful at starting the session or the speech or the presentation and at closing it. He might use a statement, he might use quotes, he might use questions, whatever he or she uses, he makes captivating opening and closure for the participants. Whatever the style you are, you need to learn that all styles are related to each other and we need to pick up the best style and practice the best style that suits our presentations and speeches in different contexts and situations. Again, very early in the session, we said that in terms of preparation, we have two types of speeches or presentations. We have the prepared speeches or presentations, and again back to Mark Twain's quote, if you would like me to deliver 2-hour presentation, I am ready, but if you would like to ask me to deliver a 5-minute presentation now, I need 2 weeks to prepare. So we have on-spot speeches or presentations. Suddenly we are asked to deliver a speech or a presentation, and this might happen to us as teachers, trainers, mentors, supervisors, and educational leaders in different occasions. What we should do to be ready for such situation. First of all, we need to always prepare 3 lines. 3 lines about yourself, about your name, about your job, about your key achievements. This might be a good introduction to a speech or a presentation you are suddenly asked to deliver. You need to have small speeches about different topics. For example, you are a teacher, trainer, and mentor. So what are the 3 top topics that most teachers ask about when they meet a teacher, trainer, or a mentor? First of all, how you became a trainer or a mentor. So you could enlist 4 or 5 opportunities for a teacher to be a good trainer and mentor. How could you manage as a teacher? How could you manage a large classroom of mixed ability students that have, for example, 80 or 100 students? So you should have a portfolio you need to be ready with certain teaching strategies and techniques to use in large classes. As a mentor, if you are doing mentoring for teachers, while we have the challenge of the pandemic and every face-to-face activities are stopped, what you do? So you need to talk about virtual or online mentoring and how you do this through different platforms and applications you already have. So we need to have small speeches ready to use in any situation related to the context we work for. We need to prepare 3 phases for the opener and closure. You need to listen or to watch different speeches and presentations. You need to pick up some phrases and sentences to use to impact people while you open your speech or presentation or while you close this presentation. You need to relate the topic to a personal experience. If you have a personal experience, but please do not be overwhelmed with telling your own stories or successes and turn this into a personal session. No, what you need to do is briefly to relate the topic to a personal experience you already have instead of talking about yourself or showing off. You need to identify 3 key points and speak accordingly. So you need to prepare 3 points when you are asked to give on-spot speech. You are going to talk about. You are going to talk about briefly about yourself. You are going to give a message about about teaching, about teacher training, mentoring, supervision, educational leadership. So you have key points related to this, or update the people on how they do this in the 21st century. Then how you could close or do the closure of the speech. When you do this, you will be ready for any on-spot speech. And as long as many as you have on-spot speeches, you will develop your practice with this. These are some tips that help develop presentations and speeches. Thank you so much. And now we will get to the chat box to find your questions and learn from questions and answers with our colleagues. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Samir.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Thank you so much for you and your great team and great participants.
Thanks a lot. And we are still waiting for your questions. Please, attendees, if you have any question or you need some information about the topic for today, please write in your chat box.
Mr. Said?
Questions. Yes, Mr.
Can we make it, can we allow participants to ask questions instead of writing them?
Yes, yeah, they can mute themselves. Excuse me,
Yes,
all of the participants, please unmute yourself and ask any questions you would like.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question in the chat box related to how I can overcome my fear. First of all, read a lot, practice a lot, do lots of rehearsals. If you kept afraid of giving presentations and speeches, you will keep afraid all the time. But in case you need to develop your presentation and public speaking skills, you need to practice. But before practice, you need to read, you need to research and design, you need to do rehearsal, and then you start delivery. When you do the first, the second, the third speeches in a conference, in an event, you will find yourself nervous. This is something normal. You are afraid. This is something normal. But let your fear help you develop, not to let your fear distract or keep you afraid of this. We are all teachers, we are all teacher trainers and mentors, and we all public speakers, we are all public speakers and presenters. So practice, reading, rehearsal, these are techniques to overcome the fear. Can we say that presentation is part of public speech? Yes, when we recently, presentation and the public speaking are interrelated to each other. When you do a speech, you might be supported by presentation. When you talk to others, when you use visuals, you are giving a presentation. So they are interrelated. Could you recommend preferences and books? Yes. Immediately after the session, I will share the PowerPoint presentation and more resources with Mr. Said to share with you. The presentation is prerequisite. Yes, it will be done. You take time to put the presentation on you take a long time to put the presentation on the page.
Okay, that will be our fault.
Yes.
So we are going to do on that. We are going to work hard on that, please, attendees. So inshallah, everything will be settled for this week, inshallah.
So most questions on the chat box is about resources, and it will be fixed by Mr. Said and his great team. Yes, for resources, yes. Could you recommend us public speakers to be followed? Yes, on the YouTube, you could write famous public speeches. You will have different ones related to policy, related to history, related to different areas. And you could see lots and lots of Arabic and English speeches that impact on the history of the human being in general. One of the key famous public speeches is the speech of Barack Obama in 2004. They think that this speech, yes, this one is of Obama in 2004. American experts say that this speech was the introductory one. Before this speech, he was not known to the American people, and this was the reason why he won the election of his first round of presidency. And you could find this. This is Obama 2004. in which he introduced himself and shared his story, his childhood, how he became an American active citizen, and so on. This is one of the key. The other one is related to Nelson Mandela. You would find lots of the African and international leader. There are lots of related to Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister. So lots and lots related to Arab and foreign public speakers. I have a dream speech. What do you mean? I'm sorry. Yes, Martin Luther King, the one that stopped the racial discrimination. Yes, Nelson Mandela, Queen Elizabeth II. Yes, lots and lots. As long as you get into the YouTube and you write the famous public speeches and presentations, yes, you will find lots and lots. Now we are not after the politics in such speeches. We are after them as lessons learned for ourselves as speakers. And of course, you could find education TEDx shows. You will find lots and lots of public speeches.
Okay, does anyone have a question? Please, you are kindly requested to unmute yourself and ask your questions.
As for the question related to online presentations, we are after preparing something related to online presentations, and soon, once it is finalized, it will be announced through the Rilo Azhar mentor platform, inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Samir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to Mr. Saeed, to his great team, and all participants.
Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Samir, for the informative session. You really rock as usual, Mr. Samir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are all learning from each other.
Yes, sir. We made a lot of benefits really from your session today. Thanks a lot again, Mr. Samir.
Thank you so much.
And we hope to see you next time, inshallah, next Saturday. That will be the last session
inshallah.
For this round with Mr. Samir, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And thank you very much, attendees. We hope to see you again many other times. But I'd like to remind you that there will be a very good session this Monday, June 15, about enhancing creativity in education. So see you then, all of you. And we hope to have enjoyed the time today with Mr. Samir. Thank you very much and goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Stay
Mr.
safe
Samir.
and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all of you attendees.
Thank you.
See you soon, inshallah.
See you soon.